Hi guys, this is Adam with Adrenaline Cycles again, coming at you with a video about the new 2021 Commander lineup. But before we jump too far into that, let me go ahead and get you guys to hit the like and subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all the cool stuff that we got going on here at the shop, and any news that comes from BRP we'll relay along to you guys through our channel here. Like I said, on the 17th of this month, which is like a day or two ago, BRP released the information on the 2021 Commander. Somewhat spotty information as far as what the consumer sees on the end on the website, and even probably very few emails that they sent out to anybody that's purchased a machine from BRP. So what I'm going to do is go over some of that a little more in detail, let you guys understand a little bit more about what we see on our side of it as far as a dealer, on the information they provide to us. And I can tell you guys right now, if you think we know it before you do, you're wrong. It absolutely does not happen that way. We have little, hints just like you guys see online, but as far as BRP saying anything, we don't know basically until you know. They actually had it on the website for people to look at before we even got showed the unit through the virtual meeting. So again, guys, if you're going to your dealer and you're plucking their mind and trying to get it, yeah, they might have some ideas, but they don't know. We just don't know anything. So we'll start talking about the first thing is the model lineup here. We'll jump into that. You should see a window over here somewhere that shows the 3 model lineups that I'm looking at on my sheets here. Basically, you got 3 2-seat models. You got the DPS model, which is a 1000 engine. You got the XT model, which is a 1000 engine that comes in 3 colors. You'll get the blue, the triple black, and then you'll also be able to get a camo option in the XT model. And then moving on up from there, you get the XTP. We all know the history of the XTP. It comes with bead locks, a little better suspension. Always got the orangey color in it. So as you've seen in the pictures released, that model will be available. There's not any non-DPS base models. They don't have that in this lineup like they used to have in the old Commanders. Sorry guys, it's just what they come out with. Another thing they got is the DPS 4-seater, which was a really popular model for us in the old body style Commander in the early ones. And then you got an XT model Commander as well in a 4-seat, and that one comes in, I think, only blue. They didn't give you a color lineup on that one like they did in the 2-seat, so take that in consideration on that. The XTP's not in a 4-seater. They've never offered that in the past, so they're not offering it now. What I will let you guys know on this, we done ordered our units, and that's how it works. When BLP releases something, that same day you go in and you order it. Typically what they got is a number called allocation, and it just says you get to order this many based on your sales numbers. Fortunately, we got to order quite a few. We got 15, and they're going to be spread out over the next few months. So probably from now till May, June, we'll be getting those 15 models in. The majority was 2-seaters, guys. So if you're interested in any of those, you can give the guys here at the shop a call. We'll have the number and stuff down below. But they're going to be hard to get, guys. It's just like everything right now. Everything is hard to get. So take that in consideration if you're really interested in one. Don't wait around to see it, because they're probably not going to sit on the dealer's floor. We've got a lot of calls on these models. We're really excited about these models. We're going to demo one of these models so we can get it out in the woods and really make sure it stands up to the name, of being, a dual machine, one you can trail ride and then one you can work with a nice dump bed on the back. Some of the features we'll talk about. The DPS obviously is going to have power steering, nothing huge there. Also, it's going to have, steel wheels on it, 12-inch rim, 27-inch tires. The next one will be the XT model. It's going to have aluminum wheels, and they're going to be 14-inch rims and 28-inch tires. And then the XTP is going to be a 30-inch tire on a 15-inch rim. So everybody's talking about the tires out there right now, guys. I'm not getting hung up on it. On my side, like I said, I do a lot of the ordering here. Tires you just can't get a damn tire right now. So with that being said, I mean, it's hard. It's really, really difficult. And Maxxis being the #1 OE supplier for tires, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised this hasn't happened sooner, even on some of the other models like the Defenders and things, because I'm sure they went to Maxxis and said, I need this tire, and I guarantee Maxxis said, I can't make any more. Dude, it's just the reality of the situation right now is what it is. So don't get hung up on the tires. I'd say 80% of our machines that leave get different tires on it anyway. And who knows, it might be a really great tire. Odds are they're made by a company, whether it be ITP or it might be, it's not going to be Maxxis, but it could be, there's, you got CST, which I think is part of Maxxis. You also have like Green Balls, which does like the mongrel and things like that. And I'm sure they've got a reason behind it. I mean, like I said, guys, it might be a great tire. We don't know. So don't get too hung up on that. And if you are, there's plenty, a few tire options out there to get right now. So the tire thing, I don't let that sway me too much. Let's talk about some other things. The headlights, they didn't talk about a lot of that in the video, in the release stuff. The DPS and the XT have standard headlights similar to the Maverick or the Defender. So they take a bulb, they're not LED, so you can buy aftermarket bulbs and put in there to get them bright. The XTP will come with some brighter headlights. They're actually LED, and the XTP will have the signature lights below it, as well as the XT should have the signature lights below it. We'll jump on in here about pricing. It's not the old Commander, guys. You're not going to pick one up for $12,000 because they don't have a base model anymore. The DPS model here in the US and the 2-seat will start at $16,399, and that's about where just a fuzz cheaper than the old XT model used to start out as. So not a huge difference there. The Max model and the DPS is going to be $19,199 retail. So it is up there a little bit. It's a fuzz more than the Maverick Sport Max, but not a whole lot more. The XT models in the base the XT and the 2-seat in the blue and the black will be $18,999, and the camo's a couple $100 more. So just pay mind to that. And then when you get with the XT 4-seater, it does not come with a roof at this time. I asked the question as why it doesn't come with a roof and the 2-seater does. Point blank answer on that was availability of the roof. Again, guys, BRP's trying to get this out there, trying to make it available, and they just said they couldn't have, they didn't have roofs to put on them. So just take that in consideration, understand that. That's why the 4-seat XT does not have a roof on it from the manufacturer, and the 2-seat does. Moving up to the XTP, again, that one's not in the 4-seater, and it'll start out at $22,199. With the XTP, I mean, that's the loaded out, version, and that really is close to what the old XTP Commander come out, price wise. It's around 20. So for, $2,000 more, you're getting the new model, the new body style, and things like that. Back on pricing, I don't think I told the XT Max 4-seater pricing. That one starts at $21,199. And like I said, these are going to be hard to get, guys. Like I said, the DPS 4-seater, I couldn't order any. They said they've done, certain dealers have picked all those up, so they're not going to be out there. We did get some XT Maxes, but I did not get any of the DPS Max. Some other things about this, we'll talk about the clutching. It's going to be similar to the Sport in that sense. It's going to be quiet. It's proven. It does have a rear diff unlock, so you can lock and unlock the rear diff. So if you're using it around the yard and not got it in the trails, that will definitely save your grass. And in some of the information they posted here, I'll read it straight from them so you guys know exactly what it's saying here. Maintenance free, built to last. Turf mode allows for tighter turning radius with protecting the ground surface. But it says gear on gear, rear differential. So what that means is, guys, no reverse chain. So many times we hear people, reverse chains are horrible, which we know Polaris had a huge issue with that. But it does not have a reverse chain in there. I just wanted to pass that along because people, we had that question, and obviously they put that out there, but I don't think you guys will be able to see it on the website. Another thing I like about it, and it's on some of the other models out there, is the belt protection. If you got somewhat of a stockish machine, the belt protection is really nice, especially if you have kiddos driving it. It'll let them know if it's in high, they need to pull it to low. It'll tell them that, so it doesn't ruin a belt or junk a belt really quick. Going to the front diff. The front diff has two options here, guys. You get the Visco lock, which is standard in a lot of other stuff across the board. And then you can get the smart lock in the XTP model. It comes with the smart lock in that model, which it should. The XTP is the higher, sportier, lineup, in this. So yeah, I get that, and that's some of the price in there. But that's some options you guys need to know. Let's go here into the next page I got. The engine is the 1000 Rotax V-twin, which is in the Defender and in the Maverick Sport and stuff like that. These are all R engines, so that means they're going to have 100 horsepower and 76 foot-pound of torque, which is quite a bit. Again, I think the clutching is more impressive with like the Maverick Sport that we've demoed here and rode around in the woods for here. That thing's running 60 mile an hour, and it's not even like it's grunting. It's not even putting a lot of strain on anything in the Sport lineup that we've rode around here in our demo program. Some other things they've done is they put an extra layer of heat shielding along the back, which I think is a really great idea with riding the Maverick Sport, since this is based off the same platform. The heat in the summertime, your back would sweat a little bit. It's not near like the old style, mid-engine, platforms with the Commander, but BRP noticed that and took some, information and made it better. So that's really, really good. Another thing I like is the electronic hill descent control, which is basically, is predictable engine braking. Everybody has a concern about that. Will it help hold back when I'm going down a hill? Absolutely yes. This model will do that. You're probably not going to see that on the page nowhere on BRP's side. This comes through their spec notes to the dealers, but yes, it will have that. And also with that, it helps eliminate a lot of brake wear, so your brakes might go, twice as long or at least longer than a normal one. Oversized radiator on this model to help, keep that engine performing at its best and keep it cool. As you can see in the front, it's got a really large grill opening, a lot bigger than the Maverick Sport, a lot bigger than the Defender, a lot bigger than the X3. So they've really got that thing opened up in the front to let it get a lot of air and, make the most of, what they're working with. As we talked about, guys, we'll start back here with the DPS and the model lineup and the two-seat. It's 62 inches wide with 12.5 inches of ground clearance. Now, I'm not big on trail width restrictions. We don't have that issue here. So, I mean, really the 60 inch, if I can get 62 inches, I'd probably take that. And it looks like it is an A-arm that is setting that difference, not just the wheel offset. I asked that in a meeting, and they said, no, it is a different A-arm. So that's why we got different suspension travel at 13 inches, and the width is different than the XT and the XTP. So just keep that in mind. The suspension travel on the DPS is going to be 12.5 inches. And then you got the shocks on it are standard gas shocks, and they got the click adjuster on the bottom where you'll just use the tool and you'll click it to help set how stiff or smooth it rides. So, pretty standard. That's how the old Commanders was. They just probably, I'm sure, redesigned it a little bit for the weight and the width of this machine. So going on to the next one is the 2021 Commander XT upgrades over the DPS. You're going to get, a roof with this one in the two-seat like we talked about. You're going to get the LED signature lights like we talked about. The 28-inch tire on the 14-inch aluminum rims, where the other one's going to be a 12-inch rim with a 27-inch tire on the DPS. You will also get a 7.5-inch dash on the XT, and that is similar to what you find in the RRX3. So it's going to be the bigger dash in the XT Commander. It's not going to be the little 4.5-inch one like you see in a lot of the Defenders, and that's what the DPS one has. It'll have the little 4.5-inch one. Also, the XT comes with a bumper and winch on it as well. So that's a great feature to have on the XT. The bumpers look really good. They're integrated, really, really nice into the front end of this machine. And then you'll get a 4,500-pound winch on the XT also. Some of the suspension stuff on the XT, as we've talked about a little bit, the XT is going to be 64 inches wide, and they gain that with different A-arms. So it's basically the same A-arm as is on the XRC, the XXC, and the XMR and the Sport lineup. So you're 64 inches wide, you're 13 inches of ground clearance, and you're going to get 15 inches of suspension travel on the XT two-seat. With that, you're going to still have the standard shocks like you do on the DPS, with just the the little collar on the bottom. You set the stiffness or softness based on that. So Just keep that in mind, but it is 64 inches wide. It does come with aluminum wheels and 28-inch tires, so that's something to keep in mind on the XT. Plus you get the roof. So on the 2-seat, the 4-seat does not have the roof yet. Going over to the XTP, this is a model I'm really liking. A lot of the guys around here are really liking it. You know, the price is up there a little bit, but I think with what you get and the option to have, or the opportunity, I guess, to have both work during the week around your farm, hunting, whatever, and then on the weekend, if you want to go exploring, go hit the trails with your buddies, this machine will do that. So it's really, you know, priced really, really good. It's really got a lot of stuff on it, and you don't have to buy 2 machines. You don't have to buy a Defender and an X3 to do what this thing will do with 1 machine. With that, you're going to get the LED headlights, which is nice. So it's just basically the ones out of the X3. You're going to get the signature lights underneath it like in the XT, but the XT doesn't get the LED headlights like we talked about. Another thing is, as we said before, this one will come with a roof like the XT model. You're going to get the big 7.5-inch dash, which is similar to like the XT here, and then the X3 and things like that. It's going to have the smart lock front differential in it, which is, I think, a huge upgrade for somebody that's really trying to do both work and play in this thing. It's going to come with a 4,500-pound winch and bumper on the front, which is really, really nice, just like the XT. You're going to get 30-inch hammer force tires on 15-inch beadlock wheels. And again, like I said, we talked about the tires. No need to get hung up on that. Another great benefit of the XTP is the shocks. You're going to get 2.5-inch podium QS3 shocks, which is really, really nice to have, and that's going to give you a lot better ride and help in the performance of this machine. Moving on over, talk about the width of the XTP. It's going to be 64 inches wide. It's going to have 13.5 inches of ground clearance, and yes, it's the same as the XT, but I think they've done that for rollover guidelines in the past, the rollover test. You can adjust that when you get it home if you need to get a little more ground clearance on this model, because it does have bigger tires. So another cool thing I thought they didn't mention anything that you guys probably seen was new rubber suspension bushing. So what that allows you to do, it should have more longevity and definitely eliminate the squeaks and creaks of the machine that you normally are used to hearing with the older style, especially around the shock bushings and things like that. So that's really good to see they address that issue. They're all rubber, and they shouldn't have any more issues of squeaking and things on the suspension components. This one does have 14 inches of travel, so that's a really good thing to have too. The suspension is, you know, the QS3, so you'll have the 3 clickers, so you can go soft, medium, hard. That's per corner. You can adjust that. You don't have to have the little collar at the bottom and adjust that away. And that's on the XTP model. So that's really good stuff to have. That's really something to look at, guys, if you're in the market on that. Something else, you know, that we need to talk about is maintenance on these things. You know, I get so many people coming here that's trading in like a Polaris product or a Yamaha or a Honda. I mean, we get Talons and Pioneers, guys. We get everything traded in here. And one thing when we're talking to these customers and they're leaving with their unit, we're telling them about, you know, there's no break-in, you know, as far as changing your oil out and your diff fluids out. They're like, huh? You know, they look at us like we're lying to them or something, you know, because they're not used to that from other manufacturers. And you'll see from the thing here on the screen, you know, the maintenance comparison is, you know, really, really great on BRP's side, but really, really bad on everybody else's side. As you can see up there, the General has a 500-mile maintenance required break-in period. So you'll have that money you'll have to spend that you don't have to spend on a Commander. Same way on a Yamaha. You'll see that there on the Yamaha's got a 150-mile, you know, service that they want you to do on the break-in oil. Can-Am, you can go 2,000 miles on this thing, guys. And the reason it is, well, we'll talk a little bit more and then I'll tell you the reason is. The break-in maintenance, like I said, there's none required. You know, you'll look at the diagram here, you know, you got 11 group things to inspect and lubricate on the General. Same way, you got 12 items to inspect or change on the Yamaha. Some other things here is maintenance frequency. I mean, look at the Polaris, dude. I mean, that thing's 500,000, 2,000, 2,500 miles. So, I mean, every 500 and 1,000 miles, make up your mind, is it 500 or 1,000 miles? You go from 500 to 1,000, then, oh, well, we'll do it at 2,000, but now we'll do it at 2,500. Sounds to me like the guy at Polaris didn't know what he was even talking about, so I don't know what the deal is with that. Yamaha, a little bit better, every 1,600 miles once you do the initial break-in change. But again, you know, Can-Am, you know, every 2,000 miles, you know, just change your oil, change your fluids. I mean, it's simple. You know, the engines that BRP put in these things, they are run on a dyno before they get shipped out. So they break the engine in before they put it in the machine. You know, that's the great thing of the Rotax. So that engine's broke in, it's ready to run. It doesn't have break-in oil in it. I mean, it's just, you know, hit the ground running when you get it. You don't have to bring it back if you're, you know, 500 miles in. If you live 3 hours away, you don't want to drive back in a month or two of riding time. You don't want to do that. So that's a great feature to, you know, keep in mind on this model, guys, when you're looking at it. Some other things that I want to talk about here, and like I said, you can see some of this on the page. It was there. You got a 600-pound bed capacity, which is really, really nice. Basically, you can put, you know, tools, hay, you know, dirt, mulch, whatever in there, because it does dump. It's hydraulic assist, so that's really, really cool. You know, again, you know, they're talking about the tires, you know, on this slide here. You guys will see. Again, we talked about the tires. There's no need to get caught up on that too much. It does look like a pretty good tire, but, you know, it is what it is. It's a tire. It does its job. It holds air and goes through mud. So 2,000-pound towing capacity, and this is what I like about all the Can-Am stuff. Just a 2-inch receiver hitch, standard out of any truck. If you got a truck hitch, it'll plug right into this thing, the 2-inch one wheel, and you can pull, you know, a trailer around your yard. You can pull, you know, a small jumbo. You probably pull your bass boat around, guys. I mean, really, I mean, these things are tough. They're geared right. They're going to do the job. You know, I wouldn't try to pull it, you know, 40 miles to the lake, but it'll move around your yard so you can do your mowing, whatever you need to do, landscape trailer, whatever. Class leading bed size is another huge deal, and it's the same size on the 2 and 4 seat, so it doesn't get smaller just because you go from a 2-seat model to a 4-seat model. They kept the same bed dimension and same size, so that's really good. Another feature on that bed size, you can fit a full-size 30-inch spare tire in the bed with the tailgate closed, so that's really good to know. So if you're carrying a spare, you can put it in the bed down low, and it'll fit right in there. One thing to note, the old Commander had the understorage bed, you know, storage compartment. This model does not have that, obviously because the engine's pulled to the back. There's no room. They're running out of room, guys, so they couldn't put that in there. But that's not a big deal. I think where it makes it easier to change the belt because that engine is in the back, I give up that other storage all day long. And we'll talk about some of the workability features of this thing. One thing that I do like is it does offer eco and sport modes. So that allows you, you know, if you're just putting around the yard and you're not needing all that horsepower or all that grunt, eco's fine. It'll go a lot longer on fuel. And then also if you're needing the sport mode to say if you're hitting the trails on the weekend and you're wanting to rip around and run with the turbo guys, that sport mode is going to help you do that. It's going to give you quicker throttle response, full power, and things like that. One great thing that I did like about it that they didn't talk about that I didn't see anywhere was on the bed, and you'll look at the slide here, it might be a little hard to see, and once we get one of these models in-house, we will do a definite walk around on that and comparison video to the old Commander, just the differences and some of the cool features. But the bed sides come off, like unlike some of the Dodge trucks, you know, have the storage box in the bed or the toolbox in the bed. This does that on both driver and passenger side. The bed panels will come off. Driver side has a spot to put a belt, nice molded in where you can put your spare belt and then a few tools. Passenger side would be a nice place to put, you know, maybe some toe straps or, you know, a hatchet or whatever. So the sides of the beds come off, the colored panels do. Put whatever you want inside and then put the panels back on. I thought that was ingenious. I don't know why they haven't been doing this, you know, on the Defenders or whatever, but BRP did see the opportunity there, and I think that's a huge feature to have. It doesn't cost you anything. It comes on the model. You don't have to buy a spare box here or buy this over there. I mean, it's just built right into it. Smart use of storage. I definitely like that. That's a good option to have. Some other thing is the anchors in the bed. They got 4 anchors in the bed, and then, you know, it's just like the Defender. I'm sure they're metal. They're bolted to the frame or come off the metal frame in the bed, so it's secure everything. It has the slots in the bed, so you can divide the bed up with some, you know, 1x12s or 1x8s, or, you know, even cut a piece of plywood and stick down in there to segregate your bed to make it more worker, you know, friendly, worker use, and things like that. So that's another good feature BRP didn't miss out on. Some other things to talk about here is just the fit and finish. We all know how BRP's above and beyond everybody on that. When you get into one of these, you're going to notice that you know, it just feels like a high-end vehicle. It doesn't feel like you're driving around in a 1985 Ford truck. I mean, it's going to feel like a new vehicle. It's going to have the nice dash. It's going to have, the push-button start. It's going to have, everything at your hands, the tilt up and down wheel. Like I said, it'll have the desk key in it, just like on the X3s and like the old Commander had, but this time it'll be the little fob, so you can put a performance key on there, or you can put a work key on there, or you can put a normal key on there. And I'm sure it's probably going to come with one key, just like everything else, and you'll have to pick that up separate. But you do have that option if you're buying this to work around a construction site. You can get that work key for them guys, so they're not running around at 50 mile an hour in the thing. They can only top out at 30. So that's a good thing to have. The signature lights that they're going to put underneath the XT and the XTP models. We've seen it on the Defenders. We've always seen it on the X3. I think that's a great feature to have. It definitely lends to the higher end, especially like if you look at like an Audi front end or even the Cadillacs. They have like those little outlines around the headlights and LEDs, and that's what they're trying to replicate with this, which looks really, really cool. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, ask down below. We'll do our best to answer those. Again, we're really excited about this model. We was apprehensive to see what it was, and we really didn't know. We've seen some leaked photos from some other places online, and we got a hint of what it was going to be, but seeing it all in all and seeing all the models and the colors, that's really good. We're glad to see that. If you guys are interested in this model, like I said, I think the limited availability, we don't know how it is on everything anyway. If you're interested in one and you're wanting to see one at a dealership, if you go look at it, from the day you look at it, I'm going to tell you, you're probably going to be 2 to 3 months behind to get it. So the odds will be to get a deposit in somewhere. If you're really serious about buying, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think you'll be extremely ecstatic once you see it in person, as we think it'll be better in person than what we've been shown. Typically they always are, because BRP does a mediocre job of letting all of us and how great a machine it really is. Once we get it here and we go through it and then we do reviews and show things, and you guys get the real picture of it. So keep that in mind, guys. If you guys are interested in a deposit, definitely call the guys here at the shop, 606-258-0005, and get your name on that list. Like I said, we got about 15 coming, and I would say by the time the first one gets here, the majority of them will probably be deposited on. I mean, I'm sitting on about 40 deposits right now on units. So guys, it's still hard to get units. Get your name on the list and get your first Commander as soon as it comes available.